Hello again. It's Will Chandler, a handle of Guardian Fury on YouTube. And I was just going to continue with my age outline of Jehovah's Witnesses and getting away from them. So let's pick up where we left off in the last video. At the age of 16, I was able to move in with my father and my mother, my stepmother. And that was at the end of September 1995. I did attend a couple of JW cult meetings after moving there to the Richmond area, but my belief that the JW cult is just another false religion was just further confirmed by that. The general feel and attitude of the rank and file JW are just polar opposites to the message of the Bible, to what Jesus said, to Jesus' behavior. They are walking in the opposite direction. They're not footstep followers. They are walking directly opposite direction that Jesus did on his with his time on earth as a man, they would say. So since October of '95, I have not been to a JW cult meeting. So at the age of 16, moved in with my parents. I stopped homeschooling and began to attend public school. There was a guidance counselor there that tried to convince my father that it would not be good for me to go to public school, and she said that I would not be able to adapt to the change, and I would end up falling on my face, just failing completely academically. And so, at the age of 16, I've 1 year of my homeschooling transcripts end up being lost, and so instead of doing 2 years, I end up needing to do 3 years of public high school. This is actually a blessing in disguise. I needed that time. I had not, I had just come out of a cult indoctrination. I just come out of the cult. The indoctrination wasn't yet gone, and that time was a blessing to be able to learn social norms, acceptable behaviors, just figure out who I am, and just to learn and grow as a person. So from 16, I ended up graduating at 19 years of age, and I graduated with honors and multiple yearly letters in track and field. I did shot put, discus, and did sprinting. And that guidance counselor uh, finds me at graduation and apologizes to myself and to my parents, and then congratulates me and says how proud she is, because she was my guidance counselor throughout my time in public high school, and she was really a good person, pure intentions, and it was really nice of her to come by and congratulate me. Um, Now to back up a little bit, at 16, due to my size um, and being 16, that I kind of would show off my bodybuilding, and I looked and acted more like I was in my 20s than a normal teenage boy. Other 16-year-olds were, here I was about 180 pounds and 185 pounds by the time I was 16, 17 in bodybuilding, and I was bigger than most of the male teachers, let alone the other 16-year-old kids that were 100 pounds soaking wet, seemed like some of them. Anyway, so a couple of really funny encounters when I first went to public high school is that a number of the female teachers thought that I was a substitute, a new substitute, and so I might, like, first couple of days, I what didn't quite know the layout of the school yet, and so I might be a little late getting to class or just walking to class in general, and sometimes a teacher would stop me and kind of be flirting with me a little bit, and it was a couple of days before the teachers realized that I actually was a student, that I wasn't joking, because then when I tell them I was a student on the way to class, they thought I was joking the first couple of times, but it made for some awkward moments when they did fully realize that I was a student and they had been hitting on a 16-year-old student at their high school. Um, uh, it was funny for me, probably not so much funny for them, huh? Anyway, it was actually there were some kids in the school that until my graduation were convinced I was an undercover police officer also. So just didn't look the part. And because partly because of the Jehovah's Witness, no, not partly, because of Jehovah's Witness cult indoctrination and the subsequent lifestyle of that, I had to learn how to be a kid. I had been working full time, then I went going to public school. Let's see. So let's go now. At age of 16 to 17, it was a good 6 months before the brainwashing instilled by my JW incubator, my birth mother. Um, so it was a good 6 months before the brainwashing instilled by her, by my pedophile stepfather, and the JW elders. It was 6 months before I realized that my mom and my dad in particular, were not evil. He was not the devil incarnate. They were who they claimed to be. They actually did love each other. And I remember it was about 4 to 6 months, like I said. And one day, one evening after they'd got back from work, I said something along the lines of, you guys really are who you seem to be. And I called dad. I called my father dad for the first time, and it was a pretty amazing realization, and it was a good. It's just nice to be able to share that with real family, with real people. Um, oh, so to back up also a little bit further, at around the age of the 3 or 4, maybe a little bit older, my birth mother um, did admit to writing to the JW headquarters and getting a child custody pamphlet, and that it was pivotal in getting and maintaining custody of myself and my older sister from our father. I asked her why it was not copywritten or openly available. Of course, she had no response to that, just silence. So when I received no answer, it seemed obvious that she had never pondered this. I told her that, in my opinion, it was not copywritten and was kept hidden because it trains and coaches the JW parent on how to lie to and deceive the court, which is a part of the government. It would not go well for the Jehovah's Witness cult if that pamphlet were common knowledge, especially if the judges and the justice system were to get a hold of it and realize how they've been getting lied to and duped by the Jehovah's Witness cult all these years. All right, back to it. At 17, uh, this was an interesting experience, one that I'm glad I've had to this day. Growing up as a Jehovah's Witness, and also because of the abuse that was perpetrated on me from the ages of 5 to 15, um, I was very, very stunted. I still work on it to this day, but I was very stunted in my emotional growth. And so at 17, I remember I was very upset and confused. My girlfriend at the time, it was a woman that I dated for a couple years um, total, and I do owe her a debt of gratitude for helping me to get beyond, or just to learn how to live. Anyway, she was out of town for a week or two with her family, and it took me a few days, but I finally realized I was an emotional mess, and I was confused. I didn't understand what was going on, and I was a mix of angry and sad and frustrated, and then I had the light bulb moment. I was like, aha! The first time in my life, I was actually missing someone. I missed her, and talk about a mix of emotions from like being, it's cool that I figured out this new emotion, right? Because I'd never really experienced truly missing someone before, and it was also a range of negative emotions too at what was stolen from my life, you know. Anyway, so let's see. Fast forward a little bit more. Um, I did the ages of 19 and 20, so I just come out of high school. Uh, I found out in general conversation that one of the guys I was working with at Applebee's, uh, I did everything. I was, everything from I did everything there but bartend. I wasn't old enough yet. I ended up finding out that one of the bartenders has a side business of carpet cleaning. And I saw an opportunity as I'd grown up doing that, and so my coworker there, he was a little bit hesitant, but decided to give me a chance. He didn't really understand how to do carpet cleaning, even though it's a pretty simple thing. There's some basics that if you don't do properly is going to make it not really work. Just like anything. I mean, every uh, every job has its little quirks to get to know to make it go better. And so uh, he had been unsuccessful in trying to clean the carpets of a small restaurant that his mother was a manager at. And so he let me have a go at it. And a few hours later, he showed back up and he was in shock at how the carpets looked brand new. And so I found my new job, right? So from the ages of 19 to 20, within a few months of partnering with this guy, he provided the equipment and the insurance and such, and I ran the company. I got the new business. I did most of the work. Uh, and we ended up having a pretty healthy new business. And so here I am, 19 to 20 years old, and in the Richmond area, I had acquired the contracts for there was 10 area Applebee's at all of those. Those were at least 150 bucks each per month. That Olive Gardens, or two Olive Gardens had both of those. It was about $1,000 a month. There were three Books a Million stores that in the Richmond area at that time, and that was about two grand a month. And back then we actually had Blockbuster and Hollywood Videos, and I had those. And so that was I don't remember how many we had, but for each store it was $200 to $300 per month per store. And keep on going down the line, different hotel chains and everything. And I recall vividly seeing the shock on this guy's face, the owner, and on every time that I would tell him I had a new contract that I'd gotten, especially some of the bigger money ones. Uh, Most of the large name businesses also paid in cash. So if I scheduled my nights properly, I could end sometimes with a couple grand in cash in my pocket. And due to my Jehovah's Witness youth, I had no fear of approaching people, and I had a fair understanding of how to read people. So I understood customer service also. I did my return visits to keep maintain my relationships with my customers, and also to try to drum up new business. It was just like field service. And so by the time I'm 20 years old, we've got the pretty much the biggest commercial carpet cleaning business in the Richmond area, and I'm having like managers of like the Olive Gardens in particular. This one guy said that a, a competitor had come in and had offered to do the work for half the price that I was charging, but he said that he would never change even if someone offered to do it for free. Well, I would come in and visit him every week or two, and bring him like cans of Freon to freeze gum off out of the carpets, and or stain spot remover. And so it was just I treated it just like I was in the field ministry still. And so by the age of 20, you know, I was getting bored. I needed a challenge. I had already conquered carpet cleaning. Like it's you come down to it, it's not a hard thing. So here I am at 20 years old, and I've grown my business into the biggest carpet cleaning company in the Richmond area. And I needed a change. It was also it was a remnant of my Jehovah's Witness life, and I realized I was kind of falling into an old pattern of just what was comfortable, and that it wasn't going to make me happy though. And so in the fall of '99, I'd also been going to college on top of running this business, and I was in the engineering. I was had a scholastic scholarship to electrical engineering at VCU, and I'd also done an ROTC class, and loved the ROTC stuff, and wasn't focusing enough on school though, and had too much to do with the work. But I was bored all the way around. I didn't like school. I didn't want to stay in an office, but I also didn't want to do carpet cleaning and be stuck in the Jehovah's Witness line of work for the rest of my life. And so August, in August of '99, um, I ended up joining the army. Now, looking at my notes here, it looks like I got to back up for a second. In the fall of '98, I ended up testifying at a custody hearing for my half sister. Uh, it was the first time I had seen my stepfather since we had left him in Texas, and I testified against him in the custody hearing, um, between him and my birth mother for my half sister, and that kind of messed me up a bit also, and it contributed to me not doing as well as I should have in school. No excuse though. It was, I could have done better. I could have been focusing on it, and I ended up withdrawing in December from classes at VCU. Um, and like I said, I went into the Army in August of '99. I went in on an airborne ranger contract. Um, for my basic training, I was the Distinguished Honor Grad, so I was the top soldier in my basic training class. Got a promotion and got a little medal for it and everything. And then I went to airborne school, got my airborne wings, jumping out of airplanes, and then I went on to Ranger Battalion. At airborne school, I had kind of gotten injured. I had an overuse injury slash I was a bigger guy. The parachutes are made for about 160 pound person, and I was 205 pounds because of the bodybuilding at that time. I mean, almost no fat on me. It was just all muscle. But I could be the last guy out of the plane. I'd be the first guy to hit because everyone else is skinny. Not much muscle. And I wasn't the biggest guy, but all of us bigger guys, um, it can be hard on our knees jumping out of airplanes sometimes. That's where landing properly is a must. And I wasn't always the best at that. So I needed time for my knee to recover. But going into Ranger Battalion with the high turnover rate that they have, I ended up having to uh, I ended up having to find a different unit. I was at Ranger Battalion for a few months, and then my knee was just bothering me, and and it I ended up just having to go to a different unit. So it actually ended up being a good thing. Um, this video is at 18 minutes, and it probably has been a little bit of a boring video. I apologize for that. I'm trying to get to it. I actually have some really cool stuff that I've been able to do in my life post being JW, and so I'm gonna end this video, and I'll make another one in a few here, and get to some of the details of my life in recovery of being in the cult of Jehovah's Witnesses. So thanks for watching, guys.